Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
Today we're going to talk about some exciting ways to make direct mail work better at your dealership. Welcome to the AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today our guest is Rick Smith from Impact Promotions. Welcome, Rick.
Thanks for having me today.
I'm really excited to talk to you about marketing and direct mail. But I got a hard question right off the bat. There's a gazillion ways to reach people digitally today, and with all those ways out there, why are dealers using direct mail, and is it working?
Well, actually, it's working very well, but it has changed. It has changed a lot because I've been doing direct mail now for June will be my 24th year doing direct mail, and one of the things is when I first started doing direct mail back in the early 2000s, it was very eventful. Everything was balloons and rah-rah, and mailers were kind of loud. And then as you went through with that, right when the economy went bad, 2007, 8, 9, that area there, automotive took a hit and people started just buying cars differently. So the whole aspect of direct mail changed. And I started, I had to change with that because I was one of the rah-rah guys, and I was like, wow, people are not buying the way they used to. So as mail progressed, I started changing my philosophies on how I did mail, and I started changing to just personalized stuff that was more direct, didn't have a lot of the noise to it. But what was happening is that mailboxes were still just inundated with tons of direct mail. And as you got into the digital age, you start moving into the 2015, 16, 17, guys were like, hey man, mailers are good, but my mailbox is just blowing up with mail. As you fast forward to now, I'm almost like, thank you, digital, because your mailbox is now empty again. Everybody started going to digital, and that became the noise. Now, it started out where guys were happy with that because it was free, it was easy, they were able to blast out a lot of stuff. But because of that now, you go to your inbox, I can pick up my phone and I have 50 emails from today. And I just have to scan through to find out what's important, and I'm just swiping through that. Well, you can't do that with direct mail. It's tangible, it's in your mailbox. You touch it, you feel it. So to me, like when you look at inbox to mailbox, it's just, to me, I'm actually, it benefits me that guys have gone so much to the digital world that they've actually made my mailers more effective. So fast forward today, and we have a lot of success with direct mail.
Yeah, I agree with you. I read all 5 pieces of mail that I get. If I and that's maybe in a week. Very rarely do I get more than 3 pieces of mail. So it's very easy to. I'm going to look at all of them. It takes me a while to get from the mailbox to the house and in the house. So I'm looking at all the mail. Whereas emails, like you said, gosh, even companies that you do want to do business with, they want to send you an email every single day because it's free, right? And so, yeah. You just get too much.
Well, not only do I get it from I have my company email. I also have, I have Gmail, and then I get it on my inbox. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm just pounded with it. And it's like I do want to try to look at it. There's some stuff there that I have an interest in, but it's literally you're just skimming to the point where I'm just handpicking it. A lot of times I'm just passing through things that I might like. You're not going to get that with mail. If I give you a good message and I'm direct, and that's one thing that we are. We're just, our mailers, most of my mail doesn't even have a disclaimer. That's unheard of with direct mail. I'm very different than guys still do a lot of the gifts and gimmicks and giveaways, and there's a place for them. You'll get that, strong campaign. You'll never stay consistent. That's the thing with what I do compared to that. You do the typical old school type mail. I have a little thing that I put out that says, direct mail is not dead, but the bad direct mail is dying. And that's the stuff where it's so loud. You open up a mailer and there's 10 different messages going on, and I don't do any of that. If you look at our stuff, it's very simple, it's very to the point, it's very honest, it's very clean. And then what we did, going back a couple of years, and I've been doing this a long time, and I did not see this at all, is we started personalizing our mail. I was like, hey, you know what? Why don't we I wanted the dealerships to basically be able to kind of speak to the customer, like, well, how can we do that if we're not in their inbox? So I started using QR codes. And what I do is I put a QR code on your mailer, you scan it, and it brings up a video from the general manager telling you exactly why you got that letter and how it could benefit you. And they're allowed to introduce themselves, kind of break down that wall, and people get to see the manager. And, if you get a letter written from, let's just say, a GM or a GSM, and it says, hey, come down and ask for me, come see me, give me a call directly. You don't know who it is. You walk up to this big dealership and you walk in, you're intimidated. If you see his face and you hear him and they're talking to you, and you're like, oh, okay, now I know who to ask for. And it really brings something to my mailers that other people don't have. And we were very, very successful with that. And then about a year ago, I said, you know what? A lot of times we send out these letters and people might not be, ready to buy a car. But we brought the sales department into the home. How about we bring the service department into the home? And we started doing QR codes with service, but service was different because service wasn't just somebody introduced you, hey, come see me in the service department. We did a service walkthrough. So we went down there, we shot the entire service process. We start with drone footage, we fly a drone into the service department, and it's welcoming you into the service department of the dealership, and we go through the whole process when they walk up to the car, and just all the different conveniences they have for the customers, whether it's rental cars, shuttle services, their lounge, and we film everything, and we just do a little walkthrough of your service department, and that has been tremendously successful. The amount of service scans will sometimes almost double the sales scans. While
Really?
both are high, the service scans sometimes are just off the charts, especially when you do conquest, which to dealerships, that's marketing outside of your database. These people, they're like, hey, what kind of service specials do they have? It says exclusive service offer or service specials, whatever it says next to the QR code, and we get a ton of scans. So it's a different way of doing things.
So, you were saying that in the old days of direct mail that it was always an event. And I remember those days. It was, balloons and I don't know how many umbrellas everybody in America had, but there was a lot of golf umbrellas floating around, right? And you'd get 2 or 3 keys in the mail every Thursday, right? Because it was every dealership said, come down and try out your key. And somebody somewhere in America won a car, right?
Yes.
We don't know where, but somebody somewhere did. So, like you mentioned that you've kind of moved away from that, and it's an honest, more personal message. Like what type of message is it? Is it like a message about come down and buy a car from us, and it's like specific to a car that I might be interested in, or is it just more about here we are, we're a dealership that's here to help you when you need it, or like what does that kind of look like?
I try to shape it to what's going on in the market at the time. So obviously with the pandemic, inventory was way down. Used car pricing was sky high, still is. So a lot of the effects of that is still around. So I want that mailer, the message that we sit down and we put the mailer together and we actually go through what kind of message, what is going on at your dealership. Mm-hmm. Are you guys struggling for, a specific model of cars? And so it can be matched to exactly what's going on there. And that's what I really like about it is that it's personalized to the letter in your hand. So sometimes, like I said, I'll have multiple messages going on where one letter might be looking to buy cars. One letter might be you're overstocked with a certain type of truck and you're looking for specific things. And that's where I can target directly what you're looking for. And that's what takes you outside of the radio, TV, newspaper, where it's more generalized. I can get myopic and drill down to exactly what's going on at your dealership. And as being an ex-GM, I spent a lot of years running car dealerships. I speak that language. So one of the things I say is I always say I speak car because I know what they're, tell me what's going on at your dealership. We will formulate that letter to be exactly what you're looking for. So those messages change.
Now, I mean, would that be like inside of a campaign? I mean, like inside, like let's say I'm going to do 10,000 pieces of mail. Like maybe I have a vehicle that's really hard to move, so we're going to identify the people that are likely to buy that vehicle I have too many of, and maybe we send out 2,500 to those people, and then maybe I have another message that I want to send out to that I have a lot of used cars, and then maybe I have another message that's just more of a general about the dealership. I mean, is that what you're talking about? So like within a single, I guess, mail drop, I might have different messages going to different people?
Absolutely.
Oh.
I just had one where there was like 2 different types of credit campaigns going on along with a direct mail campaign. And what we'll do is one of the things about working with my company, Impact Promotions, is that we do not charge for any add-ons. We have a set price for our mail, and we include everything. We even include the videos now, which is something that is kind of an awful lot of value. We're doing 2 4K videos, a 4K video for sales, 4K video for service with top-notch equipment, and we're not charging that. All I want is the mail. So when we do what you said, we'll give you multiple tracking numbers. So we'll give you multiple QR codes because you'll have multiple QR videos being played. You have the landing pages, the QR codes, the phone numbers, none of it. I don't charge for any of it. I have a flat price, and it's not arbitrary. It's basically whatever amount you do, quantity. I don't, like, if you do a higher quantity, do I get? No, I have a set price for mail, and usually it's cheaper than what guys are paying anyway because of the way that we do it, and we're very efficient, and we only do mail. So when you're working with an ad agency and it's spread all over, we have one specialty, and we all work remote. We actually started working remote even before the pandemic. I mean, I still have my office in New York, but most of my staff is remote. So we kind of keep things cost down on things, and it allows us to really be aggressive with our pricing, but then give you just a boatload of stuff for free. So when you said there, yes, I have 3 different messages going out inside of one 10,000 piece campaign.
Wow. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the video, because I don't have a lot of experience with direct mail, including video. What do you notice different? I mean, like when you have a campaign that doesn't have the QR codes with video versus the QR codes with video, like what are the things that dealers are going to notice that are different the first time they try mail like that?
I think the more people contacting the GM directly, or the GSM directly, or sales manager, whoever's on that letter. They feel that welcoming to that, and feel that they're not intimidated by it. Because you know, sales, you have that wall. Everything, you know, like I said, when I was at the dealerships, that initial, you know, meet is always that little wall there, and you got to make somebody, you know, feel comfortable. And when you get to introduce yourself to them, and they see, they're like, wow, he seems like a really nice guy, and somebody's saying, hey, please come answer me personally. I want an opportunity to make you an offer, or whatever the message is, you know, for your vehicle. It just helps that initial, you know, intro. And I feel people will ask for the general manager more. That when you could see with the calls, because we record every call, that they're, when they ask for the general manager, they want to speak to him. They want to, I saw his message, and they really want to speak directly to them. And I think that makes a huge difference with the mail when you make it personal like that. It just makes the mailers, work a lot better, in my opinion, and especially with service as well.
Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
So I want to shift gears for a minute and talk a little bit about you, because right before we came in for this interview, we were looking at pictures of your RV with my directing staff out there, and you live the RV life. Like, tell me about it. What's it like living the RV life, and what's that mean?
It's something I started. I used to travel. I've always had a dog, and I've had multiple dogs. So it's always been me and a dog. I'm not married, and when I traveled, I used to just stay in hotels with my dog, and that was kind of hard to do. You know, when I'm traveling as much as I do, I would normally stay mainly on the East Coast back in the day, and when I first started. And in 2016, I actually on a camping trip with my nephew for a weekend. He had a little camper, and we went out for the weekend. And I was like, wow, this would be really, really cool to do this, for my company. Mm-hmm. And, and I said, I wouldn't have to worry about hotels. It'd be easier to travel. I can reach further. I could see more people. And I got my first RV in 2016. And fast forward now, I'm pretty much full-time. I mean, I have a place in South Dakota. Yeah. I'm rarely there. And I travel, and it's great because I don't care where you are, I'm coming to you. So it doesn't matter whether you're in Wyoming or Kansas, it doesn't matter. I'll come to you. And that just gives me a huge advantage to other people, because I am 100% old school. I still believe in face-to-face. This is the way I want to deal with people. Yeah. Always felt that way, and to this day. So being able to do that now and travel, and then it's my home, so you saw it's pretty big. Yeah. And I have to have the conveniences of home and be comfortable. It's a lot to pull across the United States, but I stay in pockets, and I stay for a little time here in each spot. But what's interesting, what I find very surprising, is that I see my dealers more now than I did when I was, located somewhere and would, go out to see them, because I just crisscross. And every time I'm in your region, I'm coming to see you every single time. So I wrap the United States pretty much every 3-4 months. I'm back, back and forth, and I'm just going around, and I make sure I see every person.
So is your dog with you today?
She's in the RV.
She's in the RV?
It was a little warm. Normally she would be, but I thought this could take a little while.
Yeah.
But normally she's always with me, and she goes into a lot of dealerships.
Nice.
So that's always good and very welcoming. Guys are like, oh, you travel with the dog with you? They'll either come out or bring your dog in, and it's great. She's Wyatt. She's from Tombstone. For people that know the movie Tombstone, I got her from Tombstone. So even though she's a female, I was like, you're Wyatt. So yeah, she's always with me usually.
Cool. Well, I have another personal question. Maybe not personal, but not direct mail directed. You have a charity, Helping Kids Help Kids. Talk to me a little bit about that. Like, what is it? What does it do? And do you encourage your customers to get involved?
I definitely encourage my customers to get involved. If you knew more of my personal background, I was helped, throughout my life, and I've always felt that I've always been a person to give back. Like, I can't walk by any kind of fundraising or anything where I'm going to always give to it. My company believes in it. I believe in it. And I just could never figure out how to incorporate, giving back to what I do for a living. And I have a big client in Charlotte, and I was sitting down with him. I said, I said I have an idea. I said I want to go to a local kids charity. We picked the Boys and Girls Club, and I said I want to have a contest. I want to have a bunch of kids draw pictures of cars, and I want to have a contest, and I want to take the winning drawings. I want to give the kids gift cards, plaques, make a big thing with them. And I said, and I want to take the winning drawing and I want to use it in your car ad. And I said, in turn, I want you to give a donation to that charity, directly to the charity, not through my company. I don't want a penny of it. I want you to give a donation to that charity. And he looked at me and he goes, I think you're onto something. I said, no, I know I'm onto something. I don't know if I could legally do it. I didn't know what the ramifications were to try to do something like that. So I went to the headquarters for the chapters for the Boys and Girls Club in Charlotte. It was a big corporate building, and I met the director there, and he said, getting the drawings done, easy. Getting them out of the building is where the challenge comes in. And I actually spoke to quite a few lawyers, and I actually ended up paying 3 lawyers. And I found out exactly what I had to do to make it legal and to make it right to be able to do this. And we did our very first campaign in 2018, and it was phenomenal. It was good for the kids. It was good for my company. It was good for the dealership. It was good for the community. It was good for everybody involved. So it was a complete win-win. And it was just something that was just so different. And all the years that I've been doing this, I'd never heard of anything like that. And that's kind of, even with the QR codes, it's kind of the way my brain thinks. I'm always trying to come up with something that somebody else is not doing. What's the new thing that somebody else is not doing? And it just went over really, really well. And what was interesting is that after I did the first one, I literally paused, because doing this so long, I'm like, okay, where's the drawback going to come from? Who's going to tell me, oh, you're using kids, you're pulling heartstrings. You're like, where's the, somebody's going to come and try to, bring something to it that I didn't think about.
Yeah.
And we got nothing but positive response. And the best was, there was a phone call to the Honda store that did it. And a guy left a message, and he said, hey, listen, he said, he goes, I'm just going to be honest. He said, I absolutely love my Honda, and I have no interest in trading it. But I want to thank you for what you're doing for our community. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Fan mail. I was like, wow. In 24 years, I still have that recording saved, because I've never gotten that, ever, somebody thanking a dealership for a direct mail campaign. And I just said, wow, you really hit something. And I started doing it, and I kind of wanted to be able to present it to a dealer where I'm not directing them what charity to use. I just want to have anything involving kids. Guys have done it for schools, the Y. It doesn't matter. Boys and Girls Club is usually pretty popular. Yeah. It's whatever charity you want. We do everything. And I'm like, okay, well, if the dealer's giving the money, if they're giving the big donation to the charity, and and I'm getting the mail from it, I am getting the mail business from it, what's our donation? What part is us? So we pay for the plaques, the gift cards, all the legal. We set up the contest. We film it. We do the video presentation afterwards, and we include everything, and we don't charge a penny for it. We don't charge the dealers. We don't charge the charity. That's our part of it. So we even make the big 5-foot checkup. We really make it. We do the plaques, all of it, even the gift cards. We pay for the gifts themselves, and so we still get. We still get the, we still get the business from the direct mail part of it, but everything else is our donation. And then my lawyer was like, you could take the expenses out of the check for the charity, and it's still. I said, no, I don't want to touch it. Check goes directly from the dealer, directly to that charity. I don't want a penny of it, and that's the way we do it. So I don't take a penny of it.
Nice. Well, I would like to circle back to direct mail. You've been doing direct mail for 24 years, right? Just about 24 years.
June will be 24 next month.
so you've got to have some secret nuggets of knowledge in there that we can share. I mean, I just want to give the audience something cool, something exciting that they can say, wow, I learned something today about direct mail. We've already talked about video and QR codes. What else can you share that are just some things you got to do?
Things that are just imperative to a successful direct mail campaign. One thing is it starts with the list. One of the biggest things when we go into a dealer's database and we pull a database, it's just all over the place. It's very dirty. There's not only duplicates, but people haven't had cars for years, and that's you get a lot of that with guys that do mail where I haven't had that car in 5 years. We reg bounce everything, so we match it up against motor vehicle records. And I'll tell you, some dealers I've had 40% of their database just gone. They don't have the car anymore. They're not purging it. They're not cleaning it. And even the models. You're sending out a mailer looking for a specific model. We're interested in your Camry. And it says Camry 4-door LE sunroof. And it has that in there 3 times because they're not cleaning, even the information. So you have to, there's a huge process we have. It's all stages, how it goes through. And when it comes out, it is as clean as you can get. There's a program that we write that finds anything, any misspells, any added things that shouldn't be there. So the list looks clean, the messaging is clean, and the list is crystal like clear and clean as far as how we clean the data. So that's something that's definitely important. These are things that guys don't pay attention to, the legal aspects of it. Very, very, very important in today's world. You can't have these, messages where, $10,000 off and it's not disclaimed and you're using motor vehicle like MV this on the envelope and, making it look like government documents. That stuff's it doesn't fly anymore. You used to be able to do that years ago. You could do anything years ago. Now there's a lot of laws and you got to pay attention. You have to properly, if you have a disclaimer, now most of my mailers don't even need one because that's kind of the way I like it, is our messages are not, all the stuff where you actually have to disclaim it and write it out. But it's very clear and it's very, so you don't need that. But if you're offering even a lease payment on something, you have to write it all out. You have to disclaim it. And if you don't, you can get the dealership in trouble. And if there's something wrong with the mailer, it is actually the dealer's responsibility. But to me, it's my responsibility because I'm the one putting the message together. They're relying on me to know the laws. Like in North Carolina, I can't do anything that looks like a check. Even if it says not a check, big letters, bold across it, it doesn't matter. You can't do anything that looks like that. So other states you can. So you have to know what you can do, what you can't do. Those are things that are really, vital to it. Clear messaging. That's another thing is like, I get stuff myself and I read it and I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing it. And I go, I don't even understand. Like, it's not a clear message. I believe in tell the customer exactly why they received that letter, what's it about, and exactly how it can benefit them. And so it's clear messaging. These are like the things that, where we pay like a ton of attention to when we do our mail. But those are the ones that I see that when I see other companies doing it, is really, those are the key ones where I see it, where I go, you're putting the dealer at risk. You're sending out a bunch of mail that's going to end up in the garbage because your list is not clean. You have, stuff that's on there that's not actually legal, and your messaging is just all over the place. So this is, that would be some of the things that I would.
Wow.
say.
I mean, yeah, if half your mail isn't going to the right person, and another half of the mail that is going to the right person is about a car they owned 10 years ago, and then the message isn't clear, that's really a recipe for disaster. I mean, that's pretty rough.
Yes. And I'd also say learning how to maximize the market, understanding, pay attention to your market, to traffic patterns in your dealership, to guys will market in a big circle. And if you do that in Connecticut, in 14 miles, you hit Long Island across the water. It would take you 3 hours to drive around to get up to Connecticut. But if you're not paying attention and you just pull a radius and you go, hey, give me this dealership, give me a 20-mile radius, you just crossed the water into Long Island, New York from Coscob, Connecticut, and it's a several-hour drive. So you gotta look at that type of stuff too. And I see that, believe me, I see that a lot. You have to be able to get to a dealership. There's areas that might only be 8-9 miles away, and if you look, it's almost impossible to get across to the dealership. So you have to pay attention to how you can get there and market that way, because it makes a huge difference. It changes, to me, when you factor in all these things, that's why our stuff is effective, because we're doing everything we possibly can to make our mailers work as good as they possibly can. And that's why, to me, ad agencies are great, but their weakest link is always direct mail, because I've been doing this for almost 24 years and I still find things that I could do better. And it's all I do and it's all I focus on. When you have other medias going on and you have so much other stuff that you're doing for a dealer, your direct mail gets the least amount of attention. And I give it all our attention.
Well, Rick, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today?
I would say that I would love to have an opportunity to build some new relationships. Guys that are dealing with me, I love building relationships. We're never a company looking for just one mailer. I want to come see your dealership, build a relationship with you. So if there's people out there that would love to start with a company that stands behind their product and build some new relationships, I'm all for it.
Great. Well, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for taking the time to join us for this AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guest has been Rick Smith from Impact Promotions. We hope to see you again on a future episode. This one's Over the Curb and Burning Gas.